How much has he paid you in total?
In total, he has paid $1,045.04.
How much do you claim you've paid her in total?
I have two checks here that she deposited for $2,000. One.
Friendly, can you grab that for us?
One for.
Excuse me, I misspoke. He's paid $1,485.04 toward the invoice of number 527. If you take 526 and 527.
Not my question. How much has he paid you in total?
He's paid $2,150.
Does that sound about right?
Yes.
Okay. How many hours did you work in October and November?
I could not tell you, but I can tell you I worked every day except for Saturdays and Sundays.
Can you estimate?
I don't know how many hours are in October. I would have to sit here and look at the calendar and figure out how many hours. I worked pretty much anywhere from 6 to 8 hours a day.
Every weekday?
Every weekday.
Is that accurate?
To be honest, I didn't track it because she was volunteering, so I had no reason to track hours during that time period. You even stated that already.
Do you understand that U.S. labor law does not allow you to have somebody work for free and call it volunteering?
Yeah, I wasn't volunteering.
No, I wasn't aware. I wasn't aware of that fact.
There are a lot of criteria in order for something to be a volunteer job, and it's to prevent people from being taken advantage of. Mm-hmm. And one of the criteria is that you cannot be a volunteer doing work that is identical to work that you later expect to be compensated for.
Understood.
And that would seem to me to be exactly what's going on here. Okay. Would you agree with that?
Yes and no.
Okay,
it
yes
was
and no.
We were in a training phase.
Understood.
And there are jobs
but
you go to, obviously.
2 months of training?
Yes, but I said, do you want to backdate this to October 1? She said, no, December 1 is fine. She agreed to that time. Well, I was wrong or not in question. Okay, but she actually agreed to, hey, I'm cool with volunteering for that time period. That was that. I didn't know, obviously, understand the law.
But what you're telling us is that when you sat down in December, you said we can backdate this to October 1, okay? But you had already failed to track her hours for the months of October and November.
Correct.
So how would you have done that?
There would have to obviously been a degree of trust in the hours that because she was part of meetings, et cetera. It's just after that, that's when everything from December 1, once the contract was signed, everything went to hell in a handbasket.
So that's why I'm asking you, does it sound right that she was working 6 to 8 hours a day every single weekday for 2 months?
That is not, we were on Zoom calls together, okay? And so I'm gonna say, I say on a maximum 2 to 4, but
and she wasn't
6 to
doing
8?
any work off of the Zooms?
No.
Okay. All right, the parties are excused while we deliberate in this matter. Thank you both.
We've deliberated, we've reached a verdict, and it is unanimous. Now, Ms. Williams, as the plaintiff here, you have the burden of proving to our satisfaction that you expected to be paid in October and November. We don't feel you met that burden. However, Mr. Robinson, as Judge Juarez pointed out, you can't have someone work for you for free in a job doing the same functions that you will later on pay her for. That's a violation of the labor laws. So that put us in a difficult position of figuring out how we were going to compensate her for the work that you acknowledged that she did in October and November. So what we've done is we've come up with an amount based upon minimum wage and based upon the hours that you admit that she worked in October and November. So doing the math, the verdict is in favor of the plaintiff for $914. We wish you both luck. That's the verdict of this court.